Guys, happy Thursday. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Today's video is going to be about a blind YouTuber tag. It's a new tag that Cayla with a C started, and I will make sure to link her video down below, but it is the "Do all people think the same" tag. So let's get started. Now, this video was originally done by a channel called Jubilee, and they did it with a couple of blind YouTubers, Molly Burke, James Rath, and Alicia from Alicia's Guide. And so I thought that everybody else was doing it, so I kind of wanted to put my 2 cents in there as well. And Cayla with a C started the tag, and she was just a great idea to do this. I love this tag because I think it really raises awareness and gives people, there's all different kinds of perspectives in it, and so I think it's a great way for people to learn about blind and visually impaired people. This tag is just 9 different questions, and the answers can range from strongly disagree to slightly disagree, disagree, agree, slightly agree, and strongly agree. So number 1 is, being blind has enhanced my other senses. I would say agree or slightly agree, one of those. It's not so much that I have like supersonic hearing or anything, but I was born legally blind, and so I think, throughout my life, just growing up legally blind, I have learned to use my other senses, or to hone in on my other senses, more so than I would with, if I had my vision, just because that's the way blind and visually impaired, it helps us see the world. So I pay attention more to my hearing, I pay more attention to my touch or the way things feel and stuff like that, just because I can't see them as well. Number 2 is, I prefer to date fellow blind people, and I would say disagree. I've never dated anybody else with a visual impairment, and not saying that I wouldn't. I definitely would, if we had the right chemistry or connection or anything like that. It's just, I don't have really one preference over the other. Just because I'm blind or visually impaired doesn't mean that I only want to date blind or visually impaired people. I don't date now just because I'm married. Of course, when I did date, I did not date anybody who was blind or visually impaired, and just not because I was, ignoring that or trying to steer away from that or anything like that. It's just, I never really found anybody who was blind or visually impaired. I've never been around a lot of blind or visually impaired people, so I guess it's just I've never really had an opportunity to date a blind or visually impaired person. Number 3 is, I am less shallow about romantic partners. I would disagree with that, because just because I'm blind or visually impaired doesn't mean that I'm less shallow just because I can't see them well, or just because I have a disability doesn't mean that I'm going to be less shallow. Like, I think everybody can be shallow, and no matter who you are, or you can't be shallow. I think it's just all on your personality and everything. Everybody prefers things a certain way, or prefers different things and stuff like that. So I just think it's on who the person is. The next one is, unsolicited help makes things harder. I would say slightly agree, just because, whenever I am out somewhere, I don't want anybody grabbing me or, things like that. I would like for people sometimes to go, hey, can I help you with this? Or, hey, are you lost? Or something like that. I don't like it when people try to move me or try to, steer me in a direction that I clearly know what I'm doing and where I'm going, or I'm maybe trying to figure it out myself. I would prefer them to ask more than actually just give unsolicited help and just, grab me and think that they're helping me, but they're actually just making it more difficult for me. Always been kind of independent, and so I really like to figure things out for myself a lot of times, and I can be very stubborn. Just ask my family. But most of the time I do prefer it when people ask if they can help me rather than just, going ahead and doing it for me. The next one is, the city I live in is easily accessible for me. That is strongly disagreed, and mainly just because I live out in a very rural I can never say this word. I live out in a rural area, and so I really don't live in a city at all. We have one bus that picks up people that have disabilities and, or can't drive and stuff like that. And you have to make appointments to be able to even ride the bus. And so I'm about 10 minutes from one of the drop-offs. It's actually pretty close, but there's no way that I could even get there, even if, I did schedule something. So yeah, it's kind of difficult, and the rest of the drop-offs are at least 30 minutes away. So yeah, there's not a lot of accessible things in my city because I kind of live in a smaller city. I actually prefer smaller cities. I just wish that smaller cities would have more, accessibility for people with disabilities. Okay, the next one is, I am offended when blind is used as one of my descriptive characteristics. I'll say strongly disagree on that one, just because I don't ever find it offensive. I don't find blind or disabled or anything like that offensive. I do agree with one of the other YouTubers that I was watching on this tag, and at this time I cannot remember her name. I'm so sorry. But if you watch this video, you'll know who I'm talking about. If she watches this video, she'll know who I'm talking about. But I definitely agree with her that whenever people say differently abled and, stuff like that, I do not like those terms whatsoever. Because, just say it the way it is. We're blind, we're disabled, visually impaired. That's what I've always been used to, growing up. And I've never taken offense to it. It's just, reality. Okay, number 7, being blind has affected my mental health. I would say slightly agree. Most of the time I don't let my visual impairment stop me from anything, and so that's why I said slightly agree, because there has been a couple of times that I didn't even realize that I was using it as an excuse, and then when I finally did, I was like, wait. I don't need to do that. But yeah, there's been a couple of times that I have, let it affect my mental health, and like I said, I didn't even realize I was doing it or making excuses, and I got into a routine of it, and it's so weird because it's so easy to get into that kind of routine and not even realize it. But yes, usually it happened in one year in college. A lot of teachers and friends started asking me a lot how I was going to make my internships and how I was going to get a ride to do this and how I was going to get a ride to do that. It really brought me down, and I started getting anxiety, and I became a little bit depressed in it at that time. And overall, after I got out of that and realized what was happening, and then was like, I'm not going to let anything stop me. It shouldn't stop me. I can be just like everybody else. I just have to do it a little bit differently than other people. Number 8 is, I have experienced discrimination. And I honestly don't really know where on the scale to put my answer for this one, just because I've never really experienced a lot of discrimination. Sometimes I do wonder it's because I don't use a white cane all the time, and I don't have a guide dog or anything like that. So a lot of times people have told me they don't realize that I am visually impaired. I'm blessed with, having a good amount of my vision. I have 2200 in one eye and 2400 in the left eye. The worst thing that I can remember is usually when people start seeing me read, because I have to put something up to my face, and I favor my right eye because it's the one that I have the best vision in. That's when people usually notice, and they're like, you don't wear glasses, and stuff like that, and people will start asking questions about it. The biggest thing that I got whenever I went to public school, because I went to public school until 6th grade, and then I homeschooled from 7th to 12th. But the biggest thing that I got whenever I went to public school was people would call me blind as a bat and stuff like that. And then there was a couple of times people would call me four eyes, even though I've never worn glasses because they don't help. So I really don't remember anything like standing out at this point that I'm doing this video. I would just say I'm just kind of in the middle, like just neutral on this question, because I don't really know. Number 9 is, if I could regain my sight with a cure, I would want to. And I say strongly disagree on this question, just because I believe that everything happens for a reason. I very strongly believe that. I believe that God made me the way that I was meant to be made, and you know, I've lived my whole life like this, and so I believe that it also helps me help other people that are blind or visually impaired. You know, there's some days that I wish that I could, you know, see well enough to drive, just because of, you know, it would make things easier sometimes, but I've already accepted my life. It would be way out of my comfort zone. I think it would be kind of overwhelming to be able to see everything, and you know, I'd have to take so much in at one time that I just think it would be very overwhelming. So yeah, I'm actually running out of daylight. I don't know if you can tell, because I usually shoot these videos in front of my window. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not really sure who to tag, because most people I know have already done this. If you're blind or visually impaired, please feel free to do this tag. I will tag you. Or maybe Chris Peltz from Blind Grilling. I don't know that if he's done the tag or not, and I'm not sure if Carrie from Live Accessible has done this tag, so I guess I will tag y'all. And like I said, if you have not done this video and you would like to, you know, have your 2 cents, then please, I tag you, and you know, I look forward to your videos as well. So I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.